Hey everybody, it's Maria, and I'm so glad that you're here joining me today because I'm going to be talking about something that I have been having so much fun with over the last couple of weeks, and that is making my own sprays using the Hero Arts Liquid Watercolors. I'm also going to be using the My Monthly Hero August kit today. It comes with these two awesome stamp sets, a really cool stencil, two dies that can stand as focal points, and then three liquid watercolors, which we're going to look at today. This kit includes pink, dandelion, and indigo liquid watercolors. They come in this great glass bottle with an eyedropper for color application. Of course, you can use these to watercolor with, but today I'm going to grab one of my Hero Arts water mist bottles, add a couple inches of water in the bottom, and show you how to make your own DIY sprays. After adding some water to my bottle, I'm just going to do a squirt of color from my liquid watercolors into my water bottle. Adding less or more will change the amount of color saturation that you get in your spray bottle. I added a little bit more because I wanted my pink to be darker. Now I'm just going to give it a little swirl to mix it up. And now I'm going to just do a couple of sprays onto a paper towel to make sure that my bottle is primed. Those first couple of sprays were just air, and now I've got color coming through. I did the same exact thing with both my dandelion and indigo liquid watercolors, and because we've got pink, yellow, and blue, we've got basic primary colors, and we can make any color that we want with these three colors. These are vibrant and gorgeous, and you can see that I've got a complete rainbow on my paper towel. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing on a piece of watercolor paper. I'm using Canson XL today, but any watercolor paper will work as long as it can handle this amount of water. So I'm doing all three of my colors and allowing them to overlap. This wet on wet application will allow the colors to blend together and make some beautiful, smooth color transitions. Now, in general, I prefer to let my watercolors dry naturally, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to hit it with this heat tool. So now you can see how beautifully those colors blended together, and now I'm going to go in and add colors one by one. So I've added my dandelion so that I can get saturated yellow and texture, and now I'm going back in with that pink, and you can see that because I'm adding color on top of the previously dried color, now you can see the splatters, and I'm able to add a lot more texture with the second layer of color. So the first layers were wet on wet techniques, and the second color application was adding one color, drying it, then adding the next color so that they didn't blend together but instead layered the colors. Now you guys know how much I love my white iridescent shimmer spray from Hero Arts, so of course I'm going to spray a whole bunch of that, and then I'm just going to pat it down with a paper towel, and that sets it back kind of into the background. Now I'm going in with my white Glimmer metallic ink, and I'm going to splatter it. If you drip a little on your paper, don't worry about it. Rubbing it in like that just makes it look like a Milky Way. It looks really cool. Now I've got a wet paintbrush so I can make this a little bit easier to splatter, and I'm just flicking my paintbrush against my pokey tool to easily splatter my entire background. And I just love how this gives just like this rainbow galaxy look to our background paper. Now I'm going to grab this die from the kit, and I'm just picking a piece of the paper that I want to cut out, and I like this pink and purple place down there at the bottom, so I'm just going to cut it out so that I can save the rest of my background. Now I'm taping it down so that I can run it through my die cut machine, and when I do, you can see that the sides of the arms are still attached, and that's because this die has scoring lines on the forearms so that you can actually die cut these and leave them in a card front, which is super cool. For today's card, I want them to be separate, so I'm just going to cut along that outer edge of the arms. And I love how these arms, when placed together, make a heart. It's sort of like a fist bump heart. So here's about where I want to put these on the front of my card. I'm going to use some black cardstock and the stencil that comes in the kit, and then I'm going to use this Nouveau white glacier paste. I love this paste because it is super sparkly and also it's fairly transparent. So I'm using my stencil on a magnetic board to hold it in place, and then I'm applying more of my glacier paste towards the bottom of that stencil and fading it as I go towards the top. Now I'm going to peel off that tape and carefully remove the stencil, and then now you can see just how shimmery that glacier paste really is, and it looks gorgeous with this stencil. I think it's going to work perfectly with the sentiment that I've chosen because it makes it look like the light is shining through from these heart hands. Now I'm going to pop this background into my Misty, apply some anti-static powder, and stamp my sentiment in Versamark ink so that I can heat emboss it in white. I'm heat embossing it from the back so that I don't blow any of those white specks around, and then I finish it off from the front. So your light shines through, and I think that that's going to be perfect because it looks like that sparkle is shining through from the heart hands. I wanted to add one more heart, so I used some gold glitter cardstock to cut a heart from my Infinity Hearts dies, and I added that with foam tape. So both the hands and the heart are attached with foam tape for some extra dimension. Now let's take another look at that rainbow galaxy background that we made, and after making another card, that's what was left, and you can see that this mini slimline card was cut from that side of that background, and I used the floral color wheel bold prints to make this little card. It's very simple but so pretty because of that background we had to work with. Now here is another card I made using one of these sprayed backgrounds, and I used the die and stamps from the kit as well. Now today we took the pink, dandelion, and indigo liquid watercolors from the kit and turn them into sprays. But Hero Arts actually has 17 different colors in their liquid watercolor line, so I went ahead and turned quite a few of mine into sprays, and I'm very happy that I did. Now another idea is to use these sprays with stencils. Start with a lightly sprayed background, add your stencil on top, and then spray again, and that second layer of color is going to give you a gorgeous background. I've done that in a couple of different ways with different stencils, and here's a finished card with the peacock stencil. You can also use these sprayed backgrounds as a great starting point for your mixed media projects, so here are a couple of different examples where I did that. I love the background on this seahorse one where I was able to layer orange and blue to get this grungy background. Now let's take a look at a bunch of the backgrounds that I've made using these Hero Arts liquid watercolors, and I hope that you might have fun using these in your craft room and that you might even try this DIY spray bottle technique that I've shared today. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you liked my video, I hope you might consider subscribing to my channel. If you're interested in checking out any of the products that I've used today, go ahead and check those out in the description box below. And until the next time, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye for now.